Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to episode 117.
18.
118 of the
118.
internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am your host. Hi, Sam. Joe, the Panther, the third, and now introducing from the top. Whew, put on a sweat. Gotta drink my water. Top of Metal Mountain. It's that happy heel himself. Spin that globe. Show all 50 states. It's the happy heel himself, the Metal Geek.
What's going on, Ringside Crew? What's going on, internationally known? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Joe?
Not too much. Gotta go get your suitcase packed. Go tell mods to bring all the fun stuff, whatever we can find over there in Sweden. It's gotta load the plane. We're going to Sweden. Go back to Sweden, dude. What do you think?
That's awesome. I know weren't we there like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, but we gotta go pack it. You gotta get some food. Cause let's give a war. Dudes at Ringside, welcome to Aliss Ink.
Hi guys.
What's going on?
How's it going?
It's going very well. It's the middle of the night and happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you for staying up so late to come on our podcast.
Hang out with these dudes.
No problem whatsoever.
It's like, yeah. So, if our fans aren't familiar with you, introduce yourself.
All right. I am Aliss Ink, a bona fide martial artist, a real fighter through and through. Stepping into the ring, that is my domain. And I'm there to be the last person standing, no matter who I'm facing in the other corner.
Awesome. So, who trained you?
In wrestling, I'm trained primarily in Stockholm wrestling. My first coaches were Marcus O'Man and Paul Mangler Beck. Both were experienced in the Swedish scene. And then I'm also trained a bit with Timmy Force, which is also one of the big names in Sweden. And kind of after graduating from basic training, which you never really do, still the basic training, always a thing. Went on to train a little bit on seminars and those kind of things as well in different countries. So it's a journey still ongoing. And before starting wrestling, obviously trained martial arts for quite a long time. I have 20 years martial arts experience coming into wrestling. Training, always a thing. Went on to train a little bit on seminars and.
So, what was your first match like in front of a crowd?
My first match in front of a crowd was actually a kid show in Stockholm. I did a tag match with Ender Kara, which is also one of the upcoming stars in the Swedish scene, and against Marcus O'Man and Paul Mangler Beck, which was also my trainers. So, but it was a really fun experience, and obviously working in front of a kids crowd is very much different to working in front of the usual crowds we have in the Nordic scene. The usual crowds are quite rowdy. They're very much happy to be involved with the product. They scream and they feel things and they throw glasses over the stage.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's the thing. But it's very fun to work in the Nordic countries, I have to say. I like the rowdy crowds, I really do. The kids shows obviously though a little bit calmer. The kids are still loving it though and really get into it a lot.
Yeah.
It's always good to know that the kids shows in America, it's funny, like there's kids here that in different countries they'd be like, everybody stay calm, everybody's just gonna watch the match and that's it. There's kids we've heard from people we've talked to from promotions that kids have been kicked, little kids kicked out of a wrestling event because they say stuff that are like, "What are you doing saying that to an
Oh,
adult?"
wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Not gonna say what they said, but the kid got kicked out by saying something to the wrestler, and a whole group of them from a camp kicked out, gone.
There you go. That has not happened as far as I can tell here. Not when I've been on the scene, at least. But yeah, obviously, kids can get upset sometimes with what's going on. That has happened. Wrestlers coming up and stealing their popcorns and that kind of stuff. And I mean, that's not always that's not always what they're expecting, especially if they don't know wrestling beforehand.
I think Pete would do something like that. Would steal their popcorn, you know?
Well, I mean, who wouldn't go for the popcorn, to be fair, though?
If you go to certain shows, the price of the popcorn, then you get mad. That popcorn cost me $15, you jerk.
That's the whole weekly allowance coming up.
There goes all those lawns I mowed, all those babies I had to sit, and you steal my popcorn, you son of a bitch.
Oh, well, yeah. No, but I mean, it is all fun in games, though, when it comes to those kind of things, I think. Most kids enjoy it a lot, like I said. So, but obviously, sometimes it gets a little bit too much for certain ones, and then they have to be taken out of the audience. But yeah, that's more for the kids' sake than anyone else, I'd say. But it's wrestling is not something you grow up with here usually. It's nothing you're exposed to the same way as you might be in in the States or England as well, Great Britain. So it's a lot of kids come to the show seeing it live the first time they're ever exposed to it. So it can be a bit of an experience.
Yeah, like in America, you're like, it sounds horrible to say, you're like grown as a child. You're just tossed in front of a TV to watch professional wrestling. Like most time it's like to watch cartoons, but I was born in the 80s. You were either tossed in front of the TV to watch real Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, or WWF.
Yeah, hold that thought, Joe, because I just wanted to say, going back to what you were just saying about the working the parties and stuff and working heel. Actually, Chad Epic actually did make a good point about it on our podcast a little while ago. He did say that the parents pay for that stuff.
Yeah.
They pay for it. They pay for that stuff. So it's like, oh, you could get mad at me, but yet you're paying for me to be mean to you. So there you go.
Very true. I mean, that's what people pay front row tickets for in all type of wrestling shows. They want to have the sweat splatter on them or get a wrestler in the knee. That's kind of what it's about, I think.
Oh, what's up, Stefan? What's up, Stefan? How's it going?
Hey, Stefan, how you doing?
Hi, Stefan.
What's going on, dude?
Yeah.
I'm glad you finally made it to the party.
Yeah, welcome to the party. It's like, you're right, Alice. It's like the parents pay for it, but I don't think they expect their kids to go to a show and drop like an F-bomb and just like disrespect a female wrestler saying certain nasty things, or a male wrestler say something nasty to him. They pay for them to come to the show, but they don't want their kid kicked out like a freaking soccer ball, like at a soccer event. Bye, like gone. You know?
No. Well, I mean, don't be too sure though. I've seen, especially from martial arts group, kids trainings, which I've done quite a bit of as well. I mean, you do throw kids out of the dojo sometimes for not behaving. And then you talk to the parents afterwards, and they're like, yeah, so good you did that, because now they're going to learn. So I do think parents actually do pay for that sometimes, just to have someone else take the confrontation.
So what kind of swords do you have? It's a little random question there.
That's perfectly fine. I have one katana. Then I have another little shorter sword that is more of a fantasy style makeup on it. And then I have a tanto, which is a Japanese knife. It's a little bit longer than your regular butcher knife, basically.
That's awesome. I always think
It
that
is fun.
swords. I always say that swords could like you could have fun with them. You just got it's like here we go. It's swords to me. Owning a sword is like owning one of those really scary lizards. What do they call the ones that dragons? Whatever. It's like owning a dragon. You could either really cool and looks really intimidating, or you could put your hand in and bite you, and you'll be like, "Oh my god, no, I'm dying." Like that. It's very careful with them the way you handle. Like, see, I got cut by a work blade 2 days ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
ow.
yeah, yeah. I forgot to close it, and I put it by my arm, and I was like this, and I was like, ah, no, no.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, it's no fun when that happens though. Especially when you take the sword out of the is it called shed? You have to
Yeah.
help me here, I think. Yeah. That's it's big risk of like cutting your thumbs up and that kind of stuff, but usually quite fine though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very fun playing with. I would rather have a dragon though, if I could. I have to say.
Yes.
yeah. My girlfriend has a katana sword, so
Yeah. So don't mess
yeah.
with her.
Don't
Yeah,
mess with her at all.
yeah. You'll come home and find her like, who? I hacked dudes at Ringside page. Who's that girl that messaged you today? That's a Jen. Damn it! Why'd she say she loved you? That was toward Joe. Why is she telling Joe that? Because he's a nice guy.
You're gonna edit all of this out later, right?
Yeah.
No.
Brilliant.
Yeah. That's me. Just me. Geek the mod queen knows that I'm funny and practical. Yeah, that's me. So do you collect anything else but your blades and everything? Do you collect anything?
Don't really collect things as much, but if I find things I like, I tend to obviously things collect over time. But I do like books, so I had quite a few of those. To be fair, a lot of like serious Terry Pratchett books. I think I have almost the whole collection at this point. So it depends what you call a collection, obviously. It was different back in the day though, when you have to buy CDs to listen to music. Then I had
Yeah.
so much of that. But obviously now with Spotify, that is not as urgent anymore.
Yeah.
So who would you say some of your inspirations are growing up to want to become a wrestler?
Well, I wasn't really thinking of becoming a wrestler until stepping into the ring. I accidentally ended up in a tryout, or accidentally because I didn't know it was a tryout. I had a friend bringing me along because he wanted to go and thought it could be fun with company. And we've gone and seen a couple of live shows together, so it wasn't out of the realms. She had also done martial arts beforehand, but we went together to try out and got picked out. So and the tryout was so much fun. Just the dynamic with working with the different people there. Obviously, they were all just as green on this as I was. But it's something about it. It's kind of love at the first bump, I usually say. So I didn't have any plans to become a wrestler until I actually started with the training. But obviously, growing up, so many martial arts movies. I had a dream of becoming a stunt woman for a long time.
Mm.
So it's kind of like it's not that far from what I actually wanted to begin with. So many similarities, and I've said over and over again, I think at this point that with all the martial arts training I've done, wrestling is still by far the hardest the hardest form of, call it martial arts, maybe, or call it art form, maybe more relevant in this case. But it's like it's so hard. There's so many different things all together and so many things to consider in every second. Martial arts is hard. It's hard to learn. Bodies are different. You need to learn to maneuver different weights, different shapes, obviously, as well as your own. But you don't have to take all of these other things into consideration the same way. So yeah, it's. I mean, I'm so happy that I actually found wrestling because it is a very obscure thing in Sweden or in the Nordics. Hopefully, though, it has potential to grow. The audience we have is very dedicated, so we can hopefully make this bigger in the future. But right now, it's not that many of us doing this. So stumbling upon it is kind of like that's a gift.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Not many wrestlers over there in the Nordic scene that, like in America, you could name about 50 wrestlers, male or female, and like a board. No, him. I guess by you, it's not many. It's just like certain
I think
amount.
we're.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No worries. I think we're about 50 wrestlers in Sweden, maybe, that are actually active. So
Wow.
that's the entire country.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
But
not much.
It is not, but we do travel a lot between promotions and also with the other Nordic countries. We do have quite a lot of exchange of talent, so that's kind of how we make the shows work. Because obviously everyone can't be active at the same time. But I mean, there's always a promotion doing something, or it was at least up until COVID. There was at least 2-3 shows a month somewhere, like 4-hour train ride away. So distance is not that. I mean, it's not a huge country. Obviously, it's not like America, which is obviously. I mean, it could easily be multiple countries in one, basically.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Yeah.
What kind of belt would you say you are or were?
In martial arts.
Martial.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a black belt in karate and a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and I've also trained quite a bit of kickboxing, but I never took any belts in it because it's not something you have to do there.
So if you ever came to the States, there's a promotion here that has a lot of professional wrestlers in it that are trained in martial arts. What was the name of the promotion, Geek? It was like C
UFC, not UFC. It's did you see
UC.
Ultimate Fighting Unlimited or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Ultimate
You'd be perfect for them because you know how to wrestle and you know martial arts. So you'd be. There's a girl. I think you and Lady Frost would be a good match.
Ooh.
Yeah, Lady
That
Frost.
could
I
be
heard.
interesting. Yeah.
We were talking with Megan. It's on the podcast. She hits really hard. You know that Lady Frost is a stiff fighter.
Well, I mean, that means you can hit back, so that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
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 So you and Lady Frost would be a great match. So what
That
kind
would
of
be cool.
yeah? So who would you say like your favorite martial artist are? You would say.
Oh, I mean, there's so many good ones. I mean, I love Donnie Yen, for example. But I grew up with obviously Bruce Lee is one of them, but I'd say Jackie Chan, hands down.
Jackie Chan.
His way of portraying fighting is absolutely amazing to me. And there's so much wrestling in that as well, because if you look at how he uses the surroundings, it's kind of like, yeah, he bounces off walls, kind of like a wrestler bounces on ropes. So it kind of makes sense how he builds his stunts in movies and his sequences he does with everything around. I mean, yeah, it is wrestling in a way. Or maybe wrestling is, or maybe the movie is inspired by wrestling. I don't know, but it's something there. And then obviously the comedic part of it as well, I think is absolutely awesome.
Yeah. Like I grew up with the Bruce Lees also, but like it's funny. I watched like Enter the Dragon, and I never did martial arts. I do swimming with high school or stuff like that. But I would watch Enter the Dragon like religiously to watch his slick moves, how he moved things around, and like as I said, I never did martial arts. But then when I'm at work and I'm blocking my shelves at Key Food, I like when a can's gonna fall, either I stop it like wah, from hitting myself in the face, or if it's falling, I go. Whoosh. I'm like, whoa! All those Bruce Lee moves I watched as a kid in those movies. My hands are like a cat. I'm like,
see, it's engraved.
yeah,
Got it.
I would say my favorite martial arts movie would have to be Kill Bill, without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
Kill Bill, Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. Probably my favorite movie. So
It
Geek
is a great movie. I agree.
yeah.
Geek and I
But I
religiously
mean,
used to watch that in college all the time.
Oh
Like,
my
yeah.
god, dude! When they used to have the swords, and they, Joe knows what scene I'm about to talk
Yep.
about, right?
Yep.
Where like Uma Thurman takes the sword, cuts the person's arm up, and just you hear, psst. That's it. All you hear.
Geek and I would always do. We're like, what? You
Yep.
just always
Like that.
Yes,
fighting,
that's
and I was
exactly
like,
right.
when we fake
Exactly
fighting,
right.
we'd fake fight like wah 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 wah, and I'm like, and he would go, I go wah, and he go, ow.
You hear the
It's like perfect. Wait, I found my Heather hanky.
yeah that and
No,
I
but
Good.
no, no, no. But I mean, they're absolutely awesome movies. I agree, and I think the fight with oh, what are they called? The 100s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
At,
ending. That's you're talking about the ending, right?
yeah. Is that too soon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Everyone's seen it, right?
yeah.
No, but yeah. I mean, that scene is absolutely awesome. I've seen that like 1,000 times as well.
The mod loves that movie too, by the way. Even though she can't stand the bloody scenes at the end of the movie, but she absolutely loves it because of the martial arts in the movie.
But that's kind of what Tarantino does so well. When he does something like blood, for example, he exaggerates it so much,
Uh-huh.
so it's not the same. It doesn't have the same impact. I mean, it has the impact for the scene and for but it hasn't the same emotional impact that it might have. It would be more realistically done. It's like when you're saying like it's just coming out of your arm. It's like squirting all over the place. It's I think that kind of works better and is desensitizing in a way, but it still adds to the story.
Yeah.
So I think that's so brilliantly done.
Yeah, 100%. Like
He exaggerates every single thing in the movie. Well,
Yeah.
it's not realistic, is what I'm trying to say.
No, exactly. It's like what he's trying to tell and what he needs to tell the story is so much less than what he actually does. But he turns it up with such a great like calculation of how much he can get away with basically, and he does all of that.
Not only that, the film, what is it? The cinematography that he does. He knows what he wants from music. He knows what actors he wants. He knows, okay, I want to film this shot and I want it this way. So he knows how to film.
Oh yeah.
do you think Tarantino would have been a good director if he did his own version of Saw, the way he does blood?
Ooh, that's an interesting question, but I don't think that's his type of movie.
No,
I think it would be a completely different movie if he did it.
I think Tarantino likes more the old style, like the very old style, like the 1960s, the 1940s, the 1800s, like what is it? Martial arts. He's not really something.
I'm saying that is, Tarantino likes to go back because remember he did the vampire movie he did back in the day.
That wasn't him.
Yeah, it was.
That was Robert Rodriguez.
You sure it wasn't Tarantino? He did a vampire till dusk, till dawn.
I think that was Robert Rodriguez, dude.
I thought that was Tarantino.
No, that was Robert. He might have helped. He might have helped out.
Alice, how we go from wrestling to movies? We're nerds. We are nerds.
That's perfectly fine, I think. Yeah. And I mean, I always love when people go off script because that's where the most interesting discussions happen.
Yeah.
So sometimes me and Joe are just random, and people hate us for that.
Yeah.
But it's like sometimes you can't help it. It's like we're just recording conversations. That's all we're doing.
Or as
exactly.
I say,
so
a year ago today, me and Geek would just be sitting in our rooms yelling at each other on the phone about something stupid that just happened on SmackDown or Raw or whatever he saw on AEW or Impact. Now we sit on the internet and talk to wrestlers from all over the world.
I mean, that is pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah. And I have female. I'm friends with a lot. When I was in high school, I was friends with a lot of females. Some guys, a lot more girls. Now I'm pretty much best friends with female wrestlers from all over the world, from where you're from, to Shorty from the UK, to Kiara, to Alfie from the UK. It's like we now have friends from all over the world. Like, I'm gonna have to start giving people my address for Christmas cards. Like, okay.
No, but that is so cool though. And I mean, how I'm thinking as well with social media and how it's such a huge part of the wrestling scene as well,
Yeah.
and the connections you get, and like, I mean, being able to sit like this and talk to you guys is absolutely awesome. It would not have happened if I hadn't stepped into the ring
Yeah.
that day. So I mean, it's really, wrestling does connect people all over the world, because it's kind of like the mutual interest that connects all of these people from different parts of life. So yeah, it's really cool, I think, and it's usually when you have that kind of scene in anything else, it's more local, I feel. Obviously, music connects as well when you tour and those kind of things, but you don't have this type of conversations quite the same way with other wrestlers from across the world. I mean, not podcast possibly, but I have private conversations with people half across the world as well, because they wrestle, and that's what we talk about,
Yeah.
because it is such a specific thing.
And like, do you ever get a chance to watch any of the wrestling that's in America to see, like, take notes to see who you want to like, let me look to see who was on Dudes at Ringside. Okay, her name's Becca. Let me see if she's online. I want to see what this girl's all about. Do you ever do that? Like, see
Yeah,
who you see on our podcast and just see. I want to see if I want to wrestle this girl. I can take her.
I do actually. I try to figure out, partly looking for inspiration, obviously, but also kind of like mapping out the scene in different areas a little bit, and see what kind of gimmicks are there. How can you work with those? How can you learn from other people? Because obviously coming into quite late, I haven't grown up with it. I haven't seen everything already starting up. So everything was kind of new when I started out, and I watched like old wrestling, Japanese wrestling, old British wrestling, and obviously the new as well, the WWE and NXT and AEW coming in. So all of this happened at the same time. Everything is a mix, but that makes it so much more interesting as well to see what people are picking from where. So I'm absolutely fascinating with trying to learn about how people are doing their social media for the gimmicks, for example, how they're working the in between things, not just the actual wrestling, which is also something I'm very interested in. Obviously, I like trying to figure out new moves and try to see what I can learn. What can I do? What can I modify to work for my character and for my body?
Yeah. So what would you say the biggest? I'm sorry. What would you say the biggest difference between wrestling and martial arts is?
The biggest difference, ooh, I would probably say that the biggest difference, well, kind of like I was talking about before as well, there's so many more different elements to wrestling than it is to martial arts. Martial arts is it's you, and it is the person they're gonna fight, and your end goal is ending that match as fast as possible. Obviously, wrestling, it is a different thing, because you want to put on the best show possible. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's not just about, I mean, the winning and losing thing is not really the same. It hasn't the same impact on this one, because it's the winner of the evening is not necessarily the person that's standing in the end of the day. So it's a very different dynamic, and then all the audience and everything around it. Like, you have to know what the ref are. You have to play to the audience. You have to know how to do this show as good as you can. Um, so many different elements to it, and I think I don't really think they're in the same realm. They have definitely things connecting them, uh, but it is a different kind of a different beast to tame.
Yeah.
Wrestling is bloody hard, that's for sure.
Definitely.
So is
I
martial
don't.
arts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. yeah,
So is
it
martial arts.
definitely.
You do the wrong move, you're done. You can get hurt really, really bad.
Knocked
You
out.
Oh
know.
yeah, injuries happen, but injuries can happen anytime, any setting, basically. So it's kind of calculated risks. That's the common between the two, I guess. Um, but yeah, to be fair, I've had my fair share of injuries in in martial arts and in wrestling. I'd say the injuries are more common in martial arts, but they're usually less dangerous.
Mm.
So it is the impacts are not to be played around with.
So you go geek, and then I'll
No,
go.
because I already answered 2 questions. Go
So
ahead,
we
Joe.
were talking about this last night on the podcast. Um, how you feeling about the Ring of Honor, all the stuff with Ring of Honor yesterday?
Yeah, I well, I mean, it's a real shame, I think. I think Ring of Honor really did. They had a spot to fill. I think I can see why it's a problem now, though, to stay in the audience as the scene is looking. It's kind of like the ECW way of, okay, we're going on hiatus now, and I'm very much doubting they're gonna come back from that, unfortunately. But I do think it's a shame. I do think it's a shame about the NXT UK as well, probably disappearing. So yeah,
Yeah, they're bringing over all the talent from Intel 2.0 because what's her name? Katie Lee Ray? She's there now.
Yeah,
yeah,
So it's kind of like saying what? Because you haven't seen Walter yet. I mean, I guess he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know if he's just writing out his contract or they're just waiting for a spot to put him in NXT 2.0 or Raw
yeah.
SmackDown. So
And
yeah.
we'll see. I think it would be a loss to release him, but we'll see what they
Walter's
do.
they lose Walter, they're in big trouble. Walter is a
Hmm.
star.
yeah,
Like
Yeah,
Walter.
that
Yeah.
boy, I could see him coming to Raw SmackDown just owning it. Like just
yeah.
owning the whole brand.
Oh
if
yeah,
if Vince
definitely.
if Vince doesn't see Walter
He's
as a
like the
star, man.
Thanos of wrestling right now. He
And
doesn't
but
need to have his fingers. He needs to chop you, and you'll see the whole solar system within one snap. You'll be like, I just saw everything, my life and the solar system.
exactly. No, but I mean, he looks like a monster. He portrays himself as a monster, and he wrestles like an absolute beast. So why would they not keep him? But yeah,
And
Yeah,
Vince loves big guys, so there you go. You know.
that is also true.
So
you're just starting rumors right now. I don't know if it's
it's obvious, Joe. Come on, we're just stating the obvious here.
you know that meme they always show like the little guy Vince is like,
That's okay.
and
We
then,
all know.
and then they show
Wow.
Vince seeing the big guy. "Arr." Hey, the whole 80s era was all big guys. Earthquake,
Yeah.
Typhoon, like Sid Vicious, like WWE was the kings of kings with the big guys. Hogan, The Undertaker. Like you said you didn't watch wrestling back in those
No,
you
I'm trying to catch up, but it's a lot of material to look through.
oh geez. If you have the network, you can catch it. If you don't, just go on
Yeah.
YouTube, just look up WWF into WWF 93 to 2000. They may have some like a breakdown video what you missed.
Yeah. No, I have access to network as well, so I'm trying to watch some old shows now and then as well
Yeah.
to get the history of things. There's so
Yeah.
much good stuff though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um, so yeah, I kind of feel like missed out. To be fair,
mm,
Yeah.
not finding this earlier, but that is what it is. They never had wrestling running on the regular TV channels in Sweden at all when I grew
oh
up.
wow.
No, it was never a thing. I knew who the Undertaker was because you could see some kind of like small thing in the newspapers now and then maybe, and obviously the Benoit thing came up. That was kind of like the first thing I actually figured out what wrestling was, because then it was a big thing that people were talking about. But
Mm.
besides from that, it was that's kind of like a blank in my entire growing up, because I mean if you had one channel, I think, in cable that had wrestling on middle of the night, and that was about it.
Mm.
Mm.
By us, that's the Madison Square Garden Network. they would show like random wrestling shows at like 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, or I'd be still up and they'll be showing ECW about 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I should be sleeping right now, but I'm going to watch this. Yeah. You go next, Geek.
Who would you say some of your dream matches are?
Ooh, I mean, I have a lot of dream matches. I would love to face Jana Kai at some point. I think that would be a cool match. I have my eyes on Stephanie Mace as well in WXW. I think that would be really, really cool. Emeritus from Denmark would also be really interesting. And Regina Rosenthal and me have well, I mean, I've been hoping to face her in the ring for a long time. It hasn't happened yet, so we'll see.
Interesting. Is there anybody in America that you've been like going, only if they're here?
Yes. Well, I mean, there's obviously quite a few. I mean, there's so much talent in America as well. I mean, Thunder Rosa would be absolutely brilliant, for example. Would love to face her.
Everyone says good things about her, so that we interviewed.
Yeah, so I've heard as well, and I mean, I really like her style of wrestling as well. And I mean, there's so many good people. It's a little bit tough to single out. I mean, I could go on for the entire well, until morning here probably.
You were Becky Lynch. There you go.
I mean, yeah, I kind of want to say that as well, but I'm a bit scared too because she's kind of like that's the goat at the moment, isn't it?
I don't know why. I could picture her like you and her in the ring, and then she starts doing her whole like obnoxious Becky Lynch, and you just roundhouse her kick, bam, plant around her butt.
She's like, you claim your big house. Yeah, what is it?
She's like, oh, you call yourself Ink and blah blah blah, and you let her do her thing, and she says something slick to you, and you just turn around, roundhouse kick, wham, knock the mic right out of her hand.
Well, I mean, that's definitely doable.
Because
that would be awesome. Obviously,
that fight will be even. Because I know your matches would be like super fun with her. There's a few wrestlers I can see you going in the WWE. Oh my gosh, there's a few of them. I can't even think offhand. I had like a turkey pot pie for dinner, so my energy level is like Thanksgiving. No.
Well, it's gonna be even better than when the Halloween candy comes in, and get a sugar rush on that, right?
Oh yeah. Actually, my mom got me a small bag of. I finished it. Yes, I finished it today.
I think there was sadness underneath it all.
What are you watching, Geek?
Nothing.
There's some spooky music going on, I think.
Yes, practicing the music.
I wasn't watching nothing.
Peach rings. These peach rings, and that's my favorite candy. Like, what is your favorite candy?
I mean, I'd have to go with chocolate on that one. Chili chocolate is the best.
Ooh, chili chocolate.
Chili chocolate. That's a new one, right?
I've heard of that before.
I've never heard chili chocolate before.
It's so good. I mean, I obviously like quite spicy food as well, so maybe that's why I like when you spice up the chocolate as well. But you should definitely try it. It is awesome.
I'm not a spicy food person.
I am. Just hang out with me. Geek. I'm half Puerto Rican, so like I'm eating my rice and beans, and I'm like, I'm making the face. I'm putting in my hot. So it's like I'm being like that little girl with the comb in the meme. That's like me with the hot sauce. I don't know why I'm making the face. I'm like,
I'm definitely on your side on this one.
I
mean, if I can drown things in like strong spices, I'm very happy. I mean, I'm the kind of person that goes into an Indian and order the vindaloo and ask if they can make it more spicy. So,
you'll find some really like if you like Indian, you fan of Indian food.
Yes, definitely.
Oh man, there's a place in New York City. If you ever come to New York, at the Research, there's a Indian restaurant in New York that makes the hottest curry you'll ever have in your entire life.
Okay, that's a good challenge. I like that.
It's so hot, Alice, that when they're making it, they have to wear a gas mask so their nose doesn't bleed.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued now.
Yeah, it was on the food. This is what I used to do back in the day. I'd sit and watch the Food Network or the Travel Channel at night. At like 11 o'clock at night, I'm watching I'm like, I'm such an idiot. The kitchen is closed and I'm watching the freaking Travel Channel, watching all these restaurants, and I can't eat any of this stuff. What the hell am I doing?
Oh,
I should not be
yeah,
invited to
that's
Joe's house.
I mean, isn't that what they say? That like watching food networks and reading recipes and stuff when you actually are not cooking is kind of like that's a behavior that came very much during like the 90s, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like people were saying that was kind of like something people did to like as a spare hobby, basically. At least in Sweden it was. So it's very weird. It was kind of like its own subculture for a while. All these TV programs just flooding in, and people are just watching them, but never cooked. And I really don't get that.
Yeah, it's like weird. Like
It is a little bit. On the other hand, people that never play sports watch sports on TV, so I guess it's not that weird, really. But
yeah.
something with cooking that doesn't make sense to me. I mean,
I-
I love cooking, but I don't watch cooking shows ever.
I was trying to say I shouldn't be invited to Joe's house because Joe would probably try and make something real spicy and say,
No, my
"It's
mom
not-"
is actually good. Like, can't say that. Mama Panther, my mom, if
No,
you
no,
came
I'm just saying, like you'd
Yeah.
you'd say it's not that spicy. What, Lance? What? It's pretty good, right? My mouth is on fire.
My mom makes chili, Alice, that like it's not spicy, but she has this. You could put she'll put a little hot sauce in it, but she's a 3-time chili champion. So my mom knows
Brilliant.
oh, she's the queen. My mom's the queen of the chili. Oh my god, she can make a beef chili. She can make a vegetarian chili. Oh, ugh, so good, so
Queen
good.
of the chili. That's a good gimmick. Queen of
Oh
the
yeah,
chilies.
hey, queen of the chili. Yep.
Another queen right there, Joe. Queen of the
Yeah.
chili peppers.
We
There
were
you
like, we were just working with an indie promotion from Tennessee. I think they may follow you. You ever hear of Liberty Pro Wrestling, women's wrestling?
Yeah, I think I don't know that much about them, to be fair, but isn't it like a blue logo, isn't it?
Yes, with like a
Yeah,
torch.
yeah. Yes,
We
exactly.
just had their owner on the podcast, and
Oh,
I think,
cool.
yeah, he's oh my god. If you ever come to the States, they're in Tennessee. The sweetest man you will ever meet. Such a sweet guy. So he's a Southern gentleman. He's such a nice guy. He loves pizza.
go.
Loves pizza. For a Southern guy, you think he'd be eating like ribs and soul food? No, no, no.
Who doesn't like pizza, though? To be
Yeah,
fair.
well, there's certain people that
Yeah.
they like pizza. So what do you like on your pizza, Alice?
Ooh. Well, I mean, it depends a little bit. I usually go for if I don't eat that often, unfortunately. I like the taste a lot, but you know, try to stay in wrestling shape. But I like a lot of vegetable on as fresh as possible. Usually a lot of spinach and like feta cheese as well, and like those kind of things. Raw onions on is absolutely super. So more like the Italian style. And I like the thin crusted ones as well, because I mean that's kind of how pizzas are here when I grew up, at least.
Oh, thin crust pizza,
Yeah,
I guess. There's
yeah.
one that's in the States. I don't know if they do it where you're from. It's called it's thin crust, and they put Sunday sauce on it.
What is Sunday sauce?
Sunday sauce is the stuff they make lasagna with, like the meat that they use a lasagna with.
Oh,
They'll put it
okay.
on a flat crust plate, like what you just said, thin crust, like almost like
Yeah.
a flat Sicilian, and they'll bake it, like put the dough, make it like it's puffy, and then they'll take the Sunday sauce and put it over the cheese, so it's like that.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, it's so good. Oh,
I've never seen anything similar to that here,
it
but
look
it
it up
sounds
on
really interesting.
that. You can look it up and see if they'll do it by you. Trust me, we whenever we would order pizza, we haven't did it in a while, but we would get it religiously and then have a nice glass of wine with it. Yeah.
That sounds good though.
Yep.
So is it red wine or white wine to
I'm a red wine guy.
you're a red wine guy. Okay.
Or like if like depending on what people like, I'm not a wine connoisseur. My mom knows more about the wine. Like she has a book.
Just about how to pair the wine with food and stuff, or
there's a book that could pair. Yeah, it pretty much pairs the wines with the certain food. So there's a wine for burgers.
Ahmad says no Sunday sauce and meat sauce. She says
it is. That's what it's called. But it's made. It's the sauce that they would have used for when you're making lasagna. So it's like
okay, like a bolognese type of thing.
yeah, it's like a
Okay,
meat sauce.
yeah.
Yeah, but it has
okay.
tomatoes and that's the Sunday sauce. Yep, you put it on the pizza. Oh my god, it's so. I'm thinking about it. I'm like doing it again, Joe. Yeah. What else?
so. We said before you came on the air. We talked about you love Marvel movies. So who would you say? Who would you say your favorite Marvel characters are?
Okay. Deadpool.
Deadpool.
I'm not skipping a beat on that one. Definitely.
Because
that
the
would
swords.
be my favorite.
Because he has the swords, right?
Because of the swords, because of the little bit offbeat humor. I mean, it was not to love about that gimmick. I mean, character.
Character.
No, but no, I it's just something about how that character is written that appeals to me, and I think it's like I said, it's a combination of the dark humor and with obviously the skill set and the weapons, and yeah, it's the whole package basically. But I mean, obviously, Black Widow is also a favorite. I think it's really cool with the strong female as it is, especially in the movie universe. It's been, yeah, she's kind of balanced it out a little bit, I think, with a lot of things. And so that's also really, really brilliant. But if you look at like the Marvel cinematic universe and with the TV series and stuff, I think Netflix actually did an awesome thing with Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that series, how it was filmed. A lot of things I can see resemblances to Japanese movies and stuff, and how they were filming the fight scenes. So that was more for maybe not something I would have read so much as a comic, but something that I really enjoyed watching when it actually came out. But when it comes to comic books, I read up on X-Men a lot when I was younger. So that was kind of my go-to comic book as a kid.
So if you had to be in
Venom,
go geek.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say Venom was absolutely my favorite character growing up. Venom, I think, and Silver Surfer, the old cartoon that they used to air on Fox. And then they ruined it, and when he put him in Fantastic Four.
Yeah. I've never been a huge fan of Fantastic Four whatsoever, not in any form. The movies weren't, yeah. Well, hopefully they can do something better with them.
Yeah,
they were supposed to do something. The pandemic, I guess they canceled it. They were supposed to do
No, it's still coming out, Joe. It's still coming out.
But they canceled it. I'm like,
no, it's a pandemic, but it's like I think it's coming out either next year or 2 years. I forgot when it is, but they're supposed to make another Fantastic Four, and it's supposed to be in the MCU. So.
Are they rebooting it again then?
They are rebooting it again. Yeah. So
that reboot button on all these franchises must be so busted up. They're gonna have to reattach, get a new the reboot button has been pushed so many times with so many franchises. They're gonna have to unscrew the reboot button, detach the wires, and put a new button because every franchise is going, oh, I don't like this, reboot. I don't like this, reboot. It's just like,
yeah.
Gonna break something.
Yeah, I kind of missed the time where it was like original movies were
Yeah.
the staple, and the franchise was like the small part that you could really geek into. Um, but yeah, I think we need more original content and original ideas as well in movies right now, because there's a lot of the same ideas, just new actors, a little bit new script, but basically the same over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I think that is a little bit of shame because I think there's still so much potential and so much ideas and creativity out in the world that just never get screen time because no one wants to put the money in for it.
Yeah, they're supposed to remake Starship Troopers.
Again?
Yeah, again.
No.
Yeah, that
I
makes
remember.
me
I used to love that movie. That was one of
Yeah,
my
me
favorite
too. Well, the first one.
The original one. The original one
Yes,
with
exactly.
Casper Van Dien and
Yes.
with Denise Richards,
Denise
right?
Richards, yeah.
And
That
what's
was
his
so good.
Yeah.
The way the aliens were, they were like looked like giant like bugs, and they were just like I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that movie used to freak me out, and the way they used to be like just scavengers, man. They used to rip the body parts, like they used to go like
Yeah.
ripping body parts, and I'm like, wow, this
That was
movie is
brutal for his
really
time.
That
that
first
movie is
scene,
really graphic.
there's one
Yeah.
scene when they show it on TV, guys. I remember that one scene. They can't even show it on the wall channels that they show it on Sci-Fi. The one scene when the guy gets murdered, and the girl's like, no, he just gets ripped to shreds by the bug, the first bug that destroys one of the humans, and he's a famous character in the movie. They can't even show the scene because it's so brutal that they have to show the next scene when the girl's like, oh my god, and then they show the funeral. They can't even show the scene. I'm like, why bother? Like,
Yeah. Well, that's what director's cuts is for.
yep. That's like it's like when they show RoboCop on TV. I'm like, when I see someone says, "Oh, Joe, RoboCop's on TV," I'm like, okay, let me see which one they're showing. Oh, you can't show the old school original RoboCop on TV. Geek knows. I'm a diehard Ghostbusters and RoboCop fan. You can't show the scene where Murphy gets blown to hell in that scene on TV. No way.
Yeah, censorship. Yeah.
Oh God, if you know, Alice, if you know that scene where Murphy gets blown up by those shotguns, if you saw
Yeah.
the director's cut, did you see the director's cut?
I have seen the director's cut. Yes.
Oh my gosh, his arm just gets totally blown to hell. Like it's just even you even see the little flappies on the side where the bone fragments. I'm just like, I didn't even know about that scene till a teacher in my school is like, "Oh, you like RoboCop? Do you ever see the director's cut? No, go buy it." All right. Oh my god, I was like, "Whoa."
Well, I mean, it does make a difference, though. It's kind of like I always feel like I want to watch a movie the way it was intended by the person creating it. It's kind of like you want to, if possible, you want to read a book in the language it was intended to be read.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's not always, that's not always a possibility because of language goals, obviously. But it's still, if a book is written in English, I want to read it in English. And if it's written in Swedish, yeah, I'm going to read in Swedish, and so on, because you're missing so much in translation. And I mean, if you cut out a part of a movie for the sake of whatever it is, and you're taking something away from the actual creation. It's like taking a pencil and drawing across a painting on the wall. It's something about it's just not right to me.
It's just like the movie Justice League when they just remade the movie. I don't know, Joe. Did you see the new one or no?
What? Which one's this?
Justice League.
I think I did.
The 4-hour one.
No, I don't think I did.
Dude, it's something you have to watch.
No, I didn't because I don't. It's on HBO Max. I don't have HBO Max.
Dude, it's something that's worth it to have HBO Max for. That movie was so good, the way they remade it. And I don't like remakes too much, but it's Zack Snyder, right? Justice League, right? Yeah, right. So anyway, Zack Snyder's Justice League is a must-watch movie. If you love any superhero movie, it's must watch.
Cool. I'll definitely check that one out because I have not seen it.
Do you have HBO Max or you don't have HBO Max?
No, I don't,
You don't have
unfortunately.
you don't have it in Sweden or
You can get HBO in Sweden, but I don't have it though. It's not one of the common channels.
yeah, because
I can probably find someone that does though. I mean, I'll look around. No worries.
yeah, I think it's coming out on what's it 4K Blu-ray and it's coming also out on yeah, it's coming out 4K Blu-ray. So
there's a lot of good movies coming out right now that are like coming out only through the theater. Like my franchise is finally getting not a reboot, but they're getting their actual third movie put out the title, but Ghostbusters Afterlife coming out next month. I'm over the moon right now. I just can't believe I just got chills. 1 month away from sitting in the theater and watching the bona fide third Ghostbusters movie. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my Ghostbuster rant. Do you have any pets? Because our mod's head is gonna explode if you're watching the chat.
No, I do not have any pets at the moment. Or I do have cats, but they actually live with my parents at the moment. So I have to relocate them because of a move.
Aw, Katie, what's your cat's name?
No. Well, they have very Swedish names, Tjockis and Fegis, which is which is actually, well, I mean, it's one is called chicken, as in scared, and the other one is called chubby in Swedish. But they're very, very, very cute. But they're quite old now. They're turning 14. So they're old ladies.
Are they friendly? Or are they like,
They're super friendly. Especially one of them. She's like a small dog. She comes running up to the door when you get into the room, and it's like try to be in your lap all the time. The other one is a little bit more catty, but still very, very friendly. So.
Aw.
But they like living with my parents. They get shrimps basically all day. So yeah.
My sister has 2 cats, and her fiance has a cat, and now they are getting used to a girl. My sister has a girl cat, and my sister's fiance has a cat, and now on TikTok, the fiance is showing the world how it is to live with 2 female cats and getting them used to each other. It's sad to say this, but it's funny to watch.
I can imagine. I mean, yeah, my kitties, they grow up together. They're from the same litter, so that never was an issue. But I can imagine that being a tough situation to solve. Cats can be very territorial, and I've learned that the hard way as well. Bringing in new people in my life and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Who would you say your toughest opponent is? You ever fought?
My toughest opponent is it depends a little bit about the definition. I say on a toughest opponent, I say the toughest occasion to wrestle would have been in Scandigrap, the tournament that was actually quite recent, where I ended up going to the finale, and the final match there, two matches before in the same night as well, so quite beat up, tired, and now we're in the finale. We're going for the grand prize and facing Carlos Zamora. That was probably the toughest match I've ever had. He's obviously a phenomenal wrestler. He's a very similar background to me as well. He's a martial artist and an MMA fighter as well. So yeah, he's legit. He's as legit as they come, I'd say. So yeah, that was a tough match for a lot of reasons, due to circumstance, due to the opponent.
And what's your opinion on? Sorry, Joe.
Go with your fun question.
I was going to ask, what is your opinion on intergender wrestling? But
well, I mean, the thing, because the way the wrestling scene is in the Nordics, intergender wrestling is so common. It is not really a topic here. It's just a match. It's you're a wrestler just like everybody else. Because in Sweden, up until very recently, we've been 4 female wrestlers that's been active, 4 in the entire country. Which means if you just regurgitate the same matches over and over between each other, I don't think that would work the long run. And obviously, instead we do a lot of intergender matches to mix it up, have different types of storylines, and that's the audience. There's no problem with that. It's never an issue. It's never an issue backstage or in the bookings. So it's just matches. But I do understand some promotions have different ideas about this. I do understand the concept of keeping it more like a martial arts tournament, for example. You don't do intergender in martial arts usually, at least not when it comes to proper matches. And there is a reason for that, obviously. So it depends a little bit where you want to go with your promotion. I do understand that, but I do think intergender matches is, at least for the type of audience we have here, works really, really well. They respond very well to that dynamic because there is a different dynamic in the ring when you are different genders or different anything really, different sizes. It's kind of like the same. You have the underdog situation going worse. I mean, David versus Goliath, one way or another. So it's just a version of that, basically.
Okay. Have you ever thought of coming to America? Well, other than wrestling where you wrestle, where else in the world would you like to expand your wrestling style to? You don't have to be wrestling. You could be you make it UFC. Where would you want to wrestle? Or
I mean, I'd love to wrestle all over the world. That would be an absolute dream come true. But I mean, first off, I'm looking a lot at the moment, maybe going to Great Britain, possibly to Germany. I mean, I've done all Nordic countries except for Norway, so I kind of want to go there just to have checked off the Scandinavian scene properly. But obviously, all countries in Europe are interesting, maybe even quite close in time, hopefully. But long term, yes, Japan would be absolutely phenomenal to go to. That would probably be the primary goal if going a bit longer. And obviously the States as well. There's so many great promotions. And to be fair, it's so many I wouldn't even know where to begin. But that would also be so fun and travel around and wrestle maybe in different territories and do that for a little bit. So there's so many opportunities. I mean, it would be really fun to try Brazil as well, but I guess I have to learn, or Mexico, sorry. I need to learn to switch it around a little bit differently. So that might be an experience issue, I'm thinking.
Well, if you ever go to Mexico, you would have to. There's our last guest last night. It was so funny. We were talking, and somebody came in and said hi to her in Spanish, and we thought uh-oh,
great.
Am I gonna call my Papa Panther to come in and read the comment? She was just
she understood it.
Hola, ¿cómo está? And I was like, do you know Spanish? That's the one thing. I say this all the time to wrestlers in the chat. Wrestling speaks all languages.
Definitely. Yes. Especially New Japan.
New Japan. That's the thing. You said you want to go to Japan. I could see you going to Stardom.
Yeah, that would be exactly. That's one of the promotions that would really be a goal to go wrestle in, and maybe do a tournament or something like that would be absolutely awesome. But we'll see what happens in the future. I mean, it's like you said, wrestling is speaks any language. Wrestling is a human language, I'd say.
Yeah. Joe always yells at me saying, "How is it possible you watch New Japan?" I was like, "You can't even understand it." I know it's in English, but sometimes I watch the Japanese commentary. I'm like, "You're not understanding it." I'm like, "I'm not understanding it. I'm listening to the way how they say it." Because I just watch them just yelling at each other, and it just gets me more excited to watch the match.
Exactly. You don't. The commentary adds a lot of flavor to wrestling, obviously, but it's not necessarily something you need to understand. I do agree on that. And then wrestling plays on all like these basic human emotions that everyone has. It doesn't matter where in the world you are, so it always kind of works. If done correctly, obviously.
It has to be done correctly, because like nowadays with wrestling, they always have like a way to either make the fans very super into the match, or they'll book a match that the fans are just like, what the hell did you do? Don't. There's some matches that make you just want to sit there and forget about grabbing your snack. Just watch the whole match. Then I'll grab a snack. And then there are matches they're like, screw this match. I'm gonna set up my whole kitchen and make myself a meal. I'll watch the next match.
Yeah,
that's mostly Raw.
Yeah. Oh my God, Raw. We have one match.
I'm not up to date on Raw whatsoever. I haven't watched it in quite a while.
It's bad.
For reasons.
You'd
Yeah.
be like, screw this. I'm gonna make myself a delicious pizza. I'll make the pizza.
I'll watch the highlights on Twitter or Instagram or whatever and say, doesn't look like I missed very much.
No.
That's why lately we've been having our shows on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, because we're like, yeah, either the wrestlers are smart or we're just picky as hell having our shows on the days of Raw and SmackDown.
We're trying to compete with them, but I don't think it's gonna work.
It won't work. We still have people watch.
Well, you never know. I mean, you have to start somewhere.
We still have people that look forward to seeing us on Mondays and Fridays early, but Geek's jobs like schedule changed, so we can't do our 2:00 shows anymore. Kind of saddens me, because I do a thing before the show and at 2:00, and I'm just like, oh, 1:58. Hey guys, see you later. And then Geek's on the screen. What were you doing? Oh, just saying goodbye to everybody. Oh, like now I have to wait till like 8:00 just to say hi to him. I'm like, no.
Ah,
Yeah.
Bumps me out. Yeah. Well, I guess it's time to relax a little bit.
Yeah. Do you have any stories from training or in the ring?
I mean, things happen all the time in wrestling. So it's a little bit of overload, I'd say, on how much is actually going on within a show. So stories. Yes, is there anything that would make sense to talk about like this? I'm not sure.
Oh, you could talk. As long as you won't get you in trouble.
You can say it. Yeah, as long as it doesn't get you in trouble.
No. I think that's that's probably okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I mean, I always have a lot of fun within both in the ring, obviously, with the actual wrestling, and I enjoy it so much as an art form and as something I can predict, something I can physically do and be within. But it's also everything around the actual shows, all the fixing up the ring beforehand, taking it down, all like the camaraderie going on. So also, I mean, that makes the entire wrestling scene here is everyone does everything because it isn't a big production, at least not yet. So everyone have to pitch in, do their part. But I mean, that also means we're a lot of people doing a lot of things within a very short period of time, not always as structured as it maybe should be. So yeah, I've had people trying to figure out how to throw like metal beams through the, if if you put the hatch on the car up almost to the top, and then trying to figure out if they can like throw them up on top over to fill the car when it missed something. So I mean, obviously things happen in so many small things all the time. I mean, as you both very well know, I'm sure wrestlers are a rowdy bunch usually. I kind of like to see it as my band of misfit family, because we're all kind of like we're all a little bit weird in our own, or quirky in our own ways, which I absolutely love. But this is the dynamics that kind of build the product as well, and that's what the strings we play on to the audience as well, and within ourselves. So there's so many like small stories, small things happening all the time. But no, I don't I don't think I have any specific stories like that to tell.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, what else?
How did you come up with your gimmick?
Well, the gimmick to begin with was very much close to myself. I mean, as martial artist going in, I started off doing my first matches in regular Thai boxing gear. And so that was more like a strict martial arts gimmick, kind of evolved quite quickly into doing like the more mystic type of martial arts with the sword promos and like the black, a little bit ninja-ish get up and stuff. So it evolved quite quickly in that direction. It might evolve more, it might go somewhere else, who knows. But that's the thing with wrestling, it's never as stable. It's always adapting and it's always evolving and it's moving forward, both for individuals and like as promotions, products. So we'll see what the future holds there. But this started out being very close to who I am. It's still very close to who I am, and how I view the fighting part of my life. Because that's very much, I see Alice as she has the same kind of goal that I have within wrestling. She wants to be the best person there. She wants to be the last person standing. And how you interpret that can maybe be different, but it's still, the goal is to be the best there is, basically.
Of course. So I saw one of your pictures on your Instagram page. You won a trophy. When you want to talk about that? That I was like, that's cool, so cool.
That is actually really cool. That's the Scandigraph trophy, and that is for Body Slam in Denmark. They hold an annual tournament where they invite people from different parts of the Nordic scene, and not just Scandinavia, a little bit outside as well, and they bring people in, basically. So yeah, that was that was the first time they had a female in the tournament. Me and a bunch of blokes, basically, fighting it out, and yeah, I ended up winning at the finale against Carlos Zamora, as I mentioned before. So that was that's also that entire show is available on IWTV.
Ah, I seriously thought you were gonna say YouTube. I was about to say she's gonna say on YouTube, because there's like all these shows now. Like, I believe this wrestling right now is like white hot. You can't go anywhere on the internet, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, or Twitter, and not find a promotion that you've never heard of.
No, that is very true. I have a game where if I go in a car, I try to figure out, if I look at the register plates and try to see if the letters make up a promotion or not. And I mean, I realize I have not enough knowledge to ever win that game in the setting I'm in. But I mean, it's so many promotions. There's so much I've never heard of, and I mean, this kind of feels like every three-letter combination is a wrestling promotion somewhere. So yeah, but I mean, that's also a good thing. I think it should be. It should be different promotions, different styles, because audience like different things as well.
For sure. Like, there's certain groups that like death matches. There's certain matches that like cruiserweight matches, lucha.
I like strong style.
Strong style. There's like different food for different people. Some people like it hot, like us, Alice. Some people like it soft, like Geek.
Strong style's my style right there. I love it. That's why New Japan fits in well with me.
Yeah, I agree. I like strong style as well, but I do like when it's mixed up though with the cruiser and with the lucha. So it's a little bit of you have elements of different things within it. I'm not a huge fan of death matches usually. I'm
No.
okay with weapons and stuff, obviously, but yeah, I think there is a level where I lose interest. To be fair, I'm all. I mean, hats off to the people that want to put themselves through that, and there's obviously an audience for it that is burning for this. So no offense to anyone, but it's just not my style of wrestling. That's
Yeah.
how it is.
Hiromu's got to be the greatest junior, though.
Say what? Sorry.
Hiromu, you know Hiromu? He's got to be one of my favorite juniors.
No.
No, Hiromu from New Japan.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Oh, that's yeah. He's
He's
good.
he's awesome. Like, how does he just do it? He does high flying stuff, he does lucha stuff, and then he could
Mm-hmm.
go. He could do like strong style stuff. He's just putting his body on the line all the time.
Exactly,
That guy.
but that's exactly, but that's the kind of mix I like, though. I mean, it has to be, but it also makes it look. It looks like it would be a fight, and that's the
Yeah.
most important thing, I think. Because if you lose that element, then it is something else.
Mhm.
There's
Yep.
no wrestling. Wrestling has to be a fight.
I get it why they won't push him up because I guess he's very small, but he could really stand toe to toe with anybody.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, I don't think size should matters, but it's easy for me to say that it's a bit on the small side, obviously.
Yeah. But I mean, like him and Dragon Lee is probably one of my favorite junior matches easily.
That's cool, though. I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen that one, though, so I have to check it out, but I
You
do
have
know who it is.
any of the Hiromu versus Dragon Lee matches or Takahashi versus
Yes.
versus Dragon Lee? Awesome match, by the way. Or what's the other name? He had another name before Hiromu. No, Kamatachi.
Kamatachi, yeah.
Kamatachi was his name before. Yeah, he's just awesome, by the way.
But there's so much talent there as well. It's kind of like it feels like Japanese wrestlers up until AEW didn't get out as much. Maybe that's just my perception of it. But I think it's good with more of a trade-off going on between the big promotions in Japan and in the States.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everyone is going to get better by it.
Definitely.
So Alice, has a fan ever given you fan art of you that they've done, or like made you like a pop of you? Have they ever done that before for you?
It has happened, yes. Fan art has definitely happened. I try to post it on my Insta page as well when it comes up, or Twitter, depending on how I get it. No, but I think that's so awesome, though. I come from a family of a lot of artists, so I'm not specifically good at drawing myself. Unfortunately, I wanted to be a tattoo artist back in the day, but it never happened. But I understand how much time it takes to actually produce something on paper. That is not easy, or on the screen as well if you do it digitally. So I'm always very grateful for when people actually do draw something and send it over, obviously, as well, for just for my enjoyment. Basically, it's kind of like it's really that is really a awesome gift, because a lot of time and effort going into that.
Well, if you think about it, Alice, you are an artist. Want to know why? To us, what you do is art to us, because you're in the ring. Wrestling to us is art, and you paint your picture by doing your moves, your martial arts moves, and doing your character. To us, that's a work of art. Work of art to wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
That's so awesome to hear, and I definitely agree. Wrestling is an art form, and it should be treated with the same respect as other types of art forms should be. hopefully that's. I think you might be a little bit further ahead in the States than Sweden is in that aspect. But I agree, though, and it takes so much out of the performer to actually do this and perform at level under those circumstances. And I mean, it does hurt. It does take a lot of blood and grit to get where you are if you're going to go up on stage as well. So yeah, it should be given more credentials for what it actually is as an art form. I agree on that one.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate hearing it as well. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. We love wrestling. We love to make our wrestler feel super happy and super friendly and excited because we love wrestling. We always love. That's why I enjoy doing this more than anything, because Geek got me into independent wrestling, and hearing about Ring of Honor going down. If it wasn't for Ring of Honor, I would not even know about the indie scene. I'm more of like an old school wrestling fan. Geek knows. I would give him an earful about old school wrestling until he showed me Ring of Honor DVDs. And I thank him every time. I do it. Thank you so much for getting me into Ring of Honor. I would never know about indie wrestling. And now me and Geek are like the preachers on this podcast. Gotta watch indie wrestling. And that's even more why I love having wrestlers from different countries. Now, people like our friend Meme Mania that's in the chat, and our other friend from Marauder, Thunderfeet, and our other friend Marauder, they would never know about wrestlers like you from like Sweden and Shorty from the UK and Kiara. They would never know who these people are.
And Pete. Right.
And all these wrestlers that we've had on our podcast from different countries, they wouldn't even know what your promotion Power Slam is, or Coventry Pro Wrestling, or UK Wrestling, or any of that stuff.
Or CCW.
Or CCW.
Copenhagen Championship Wrestling.
Copenhagen promotion. Like, we pretty much opened the door for our friends to know about these indie promotions for different countries. Yeah. And now, who knows? This may lead to their fandom wanting to watch even more, want to buy the merch and stuff like that. That's why I love helping indie wrestlers get their name out in America. So, like, you never know. What if you did take your trip and come to America and you loved it, and then you come to New York or Philly, and my friend's like, I'm at a wrestling show. I don't know nobody on this roster. He sees your name on a program and goes, oh my God, Aliss is here. Holy crap. I watched you on Dudes at Ringside. I got a chance to watch one of your matches. You're so awesome. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, there's the butterfly effect, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. Mm-hmm. It's super big like that.
No, but that is what is so cool. Like, well, podcasts and like guys like you giving the opportunity to get the name out. That is so important, especially to the little bit of a forgotten regions that we are up north, and probably other places in the world as well, where you don't have the same reach. You don't get on the platforms as much. I'd say the only promotion at the moment that is starting to get there and actually get on actual platforms and streaming sites and so on, that is Body Slam at the moment. But obviously, all promotions work in that direction. You want to get out there, and all the wrestlers want to get out there, but it's very hard unless you get an opportunity somewhere. And that's where, like I said, guys like you give so much to the scene that way, because you open up doors and open up opportunities. And that's kind of what we need right now, I think. But I think the Nordic scene is coming in strong. I think we're going to see a lot more from up north coming down to Europe and working there more, working in Great Britain, and hopefully soon as well in the States and Japan. And because I think it is a region that is a lot of interest, because it has been forgotten, but it's starting to grow here. There is an interest. So hopefully it will not be as out of realm as it might have been up until now.
Yeah, and don't get it twisted either. It's like you're helping us as well.
Definitely. I mean,
Because
I hope we can spread your name to the Swedish audience. That's why
they're
I need to
helping
do
us
today.
out as well. So there you go. I mean,
you could go to a show and be like, "Hey," to like you'll be signing an autograph and be like, "Oh, you guys you like wrestling podcasts? Yeah, I do. Have you ever heard of Dudes at Ringside?"
yeah,
Exactly.
Dudes at
Yeah.
Ringside. Oh, there they are. You, as you say in the bottom of the screen, Alice, we're not only on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and like if there was any other platform to be on, we probably would go back on MySpace. Greek made a giant joke one day. We were talking about MySpace. He's like, "Can we go on MySpace?" It's still there. I don't know if you know
Is
that.
it?
Yeah, it's still
it
there.
is still there. It's still
Still
there.
there.
Wow. Okay.
It's not the same. It's not the same, but it's like
I don't know. I think
yeah.
it's just for music. I think it's just for music. But I told
Yeah.
Geek, put us on MySpace. It may be because we're also on everywhere you could find a podcast.
That's
Everyone.
on the bottom of the screen.
Bottom of the
Spotify,
screen,
Apple.
That's the way to do it, though.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
exactly the way to do it. So yeah, you're everywhere. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm not that good with social media, to be fair. I'm trying to be, but I'm very late into Twitter, for example. It's not a huge thing here, so it took a while before I actually understood the use it has within the wrestling community, especially. So yeah, I'm trying to learn as well. Twitch would be the next thing, then I assume, maybe.
Twitch is the way to go.
Twitch is the way to go. Okay.
do you play video games by chance, Alice?
I do play video games, but I play mainly retro video games. I don't have that much time to actually spend on gaming nowadays. I grew up playing a lot of computer games, especially. So I do have that from my upbringing a lot. But nowadays, I kind of like I'm stuck. Maybe you could say a little bit in like the retro vibe of things. I love like point and click games. More like the adventure type games. I something about that is both nostalgic and makes me very happy and calm inside.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, always like play other stuff as well, but not as much at all. So I think my favorite games of all time is still gonna be like the point and click, like old Discworld games and Simon the Sorcerer and Monkey Island and those. It's like nothing beats those games for me.
For me, it has to be the old school. It has to go like back to like Mario Brothers, like Mario Brothers 2 into 3. But the game that always, as a kid, that it used to always get me amped, anybody playing it, was NBA Jams.
Oh yeah.
Oh God. My friend would always get so mad at me because I would know how to do the funky, cool dunks. I was like, I do the breakaway, the speed. I think it was like B, and I'd break away, and then I get to the line. Right before I get to the line, I do that, whoosh, and then he said the stars coming off the guy and the power dunk. And my friends would always get mad at me because I learned how to. Because my cousin would always teach me, make sure the best player on the team always has to be on fire. That's how you win the match. That's how you win. Like if you're beating the Knicks, always play as Starks. Never play as Patrick Ewing because he's big. Because when you're Starks, you could always cut the corner and do a 3-pointer. You give the ball to Ewing, he'll dunk.
There you go. That's an insider tip for you.
There you go. How about you? What's your game? What was your game of choice in?
My game of choice would have to be Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4. That's the scariest game I ever played. I remember these creatures that were made in the lab. They would always chase me, and you could never beat them.
So did you ever complete the game then?
I completed the game. I did complete the game, but it took me forever. But that, and I think Last of Us is another great game you have to check out.
See, if Alice is with you, you win.
Say what? Sorry?
I said if Alice is with you, he'll win. She'll chop up
I also take the sword and be like,
Definitely. They should do the Resident Evil games as VR games. That would be cool.
Oh, that would freak me out.
I think
They
they
freak me out.
have them.
Do they?
I just saw something on the TV. This person's going, huh, huh, and they look back and they see the hands going over the screen, and then they go back. It says Resident Evil.
There you go.
Yeah.
I do like VR games though. I think that is really fun.
They
So
made,
that might be
they made
something
an
to check
Insidious
out.
game too.
Yeah.
Sorry. They made an Insidious VR game.
I have to check that
This
out.
came out. I think it's coming out I think it's coming out this month or next month, Resident Evil. But I'm like, are you gonna get a chance to? Is it like a first-person bang game, or do you like just walk around in the zombie world? Do you have guns? Because you Resident Evil, you have to have guns. It has to have a whole setup. Like,
Yeah, but you probably have. I mean, I'm thinking the hand controls would work as the guns. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So they would probably work out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking you need to have a quite big space to play that game.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna freak out and knock things over. I'm pretty sure.
Oh my god. Geek lives in the Geek Lab and he's not so much space. Imagine he's walking and he's just like, I'm here. Oh my god, that's stairs. Oh my neck.
Resident Evil 4, if that was a VR game, I think I'd be so freaking scared. That game, I told you, it used to scare the crap out of me. I can't imagine just putting on the goggles and walking around.
No, that is I mean, that is a source of nightmares without a doubt, I'd say.
Yeah.
That would be like horrible. Like my case, they have a
those creatures that used to have the split face, they used to be like a regular person. Then they'd open up like this. And I'll be like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Like I think there was one that I think it's called The Last of Us.
Last of Us is a great game, by the way. I beat the whole game to that one too.
There's another one that the kids are now playing on Twitch that you get different. You get a chance to do different horror characters. Like there's one for Jason. There's one for I think Pinhead.
Are you talking about Fortnite?
Not Fortnite. No. It's almost like Friday the 13th. But you could choose different bad guys to be the killer.
I haven't heard of it.
I don't know if you ever seen that one. I have to find. If I find the name, I'll send it to you later. Later on, or whatever.
Please do. Sounds like a good Halloween game.
Oh my gosh, it's so creepy, but it's so cool at the same time. There's one of the characters they just added. I guess maybe last year, maybe like a month ago. They added Ghostface from Scream. Oh yeah, you could be Ghostface.
That's a classic.
Oh, I love it. I'm like, I love it. I love it. Especially they're coming out with the new one. I think they did that just to get the fans all wired up about the new Scream.
You need the Ghostface from Scary Movie too.
Oh come on, maybe. Yeah. I think that if they have like a phone and the person's lost, if they Ghostface, they have to add that voice. If you have a phone in the game that it goes like this, ring ring.
Yes.
What are you doing? Like that voice. They should have like your phone gets distorted and you start hearing. As he gets closer, your phone starts getting really messed up and it's like, hello, what are you doing? Yeah, that's me and geeks like thing. We love horror movies. I'm more of like the Freddy's and like the Friday the 13th, but I do like a mystery. Like, how'd this happen? Why would this happen in this town? That kind of movie, kind of like It, which it was hilarious. My dad's never seen the original It with Tim, and I've seen that movie so many times. And my dad finally we got halfway through the movie, and my dad's like, "How much longer is this damn movie?" And we put it on. It was like an hour more. It was like halfway through, and it was still an hour and a half left. I'm like, he's like, how much longer is this goddamn movie? My God.
The original, it's long. It's like 5 hours.
He was like, this movie's still going. He had to stop. He's like, I'm done.
It's been so long since I've seen that. I don't remember it's that long, but I mean, Maybe, yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe I shortened it down in my memory a little bit.
Hmm.
But no, I'd say when it comes to horror movies, I kind of like the more like psychological ones, like The Shining, or I quite like The Thing as well.
Hmm.
So, but
Insidious.
obviously, like you have Army of the Dead, and those kind of movies are also quite good. To be fair.
Army of the Dead. Did you see that, Joe, or you haven't seen it yet?
Sounds. I gotta get my dad. When my mom goes away, I definitely have to remember to watch a
Netflix.
movie next week with my
Yes,
dad.
that is a classic.
Netflix. It's Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. It's basically, let's put it to you this way: there's a rescue team. They have to go to Las Vegas, and they have a whole horde of zombies.
Mm.
And then there's like what? There's like a queen zombie, right? Right.
Yeah,
There's a queen zombie, right, in the movie, right?
Mm.
And they're all like super. Like there's like different types of zombies. There's fast zombies, and then there's the slow zombies.
and there's chainsaws. That's important. Chainsaws are very important.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think some of them they talk.
Zombies
talk in that one?
I never heard that
No.
zombies talk.
Do they talk in that?
They talk. They don't talk, but they make like noises.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
They don't make the grunt noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the classic noise, though.
Yeah.
But I mean, best zombie movie ever has to be Shaun of the Dead, though.
Oh yeah,
Shaun of the Dead is so funny. So funny.
It is so funny. I absolutely love that movie. It's kind of, and I can see like the opening scenes. I can just see myself in the mornings.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that is exactly what would happen.
It's totally funny with
That's me and Joe in the apocalypse right there.
Yeah.
All right. Right there. It's like Joe, what do we do? What do we do, Joe? I don't know. And then it's like, throw something at him. And we'll just be throwing records.
Geek's got bad aim. He'd miss the zombie completely. Like just the record or whatever he has in him just go right over the right side of his head. It hit him, but it only go and catch half its ear, and the ear would just like flop to the side. And he's just
and they'll be yelling at Joe, "That's the classics, Joe. What are you doing?" He's like, "What?"
And I'm like, "I got this." He'll just bounce off. I'm like, "Why is it bouncing off? It's not doing anything. What do we do? Isn't there knives in your apartment, Geek? There's no knives here." That's when Alice jumps off the building and goes, "Guys, back up."
Exactly.
Yes,
you can just hear like the first tunes of the immigrant song coming from out of nowhere, and then Alice comes down like, there you go.
We're like, yay!
Yeah, Alice comes to save us with the sword. It's just like, there you go. That's how it's done.
What would you do without me, boys? Saved your butt again.
See, we have a movie script coming on here, I think.
That's it right there.
I do write, Alice. I'm a writer. I've written, here we go. I've written 3 Ghostbusters fan fiction within a year. Not this year, like past years.
Brilliant.
I have my own character that I created. He's up your alley. He's just black. He's dark. He died. He came back from the dead. His name is
Bolt.
The Bolt.
Oh. Look at that.
Yes. That's his origin. That's like when I first started him, I was a little kid. And then the Geek knows all about the Bolt. I used to draw the Bolt when I was in college. I started the Bolt as like a teen. He got struck by lightning and he learned that he has powers. And as a teen, he slowly lost his powers and he learned how to fight. Like karate / wrestling style because he liked wrestling so much. And then he stopped doing it because he was like, oh, who wants to be a superhero now? Nobody wants to be a hero. I don't want to do anything. So he just left and stopped doing it. And then he was walking one day and he heard somebody in a scuffle in a house and he stopped to go. Instead of calling the cops, he was like, I'm still a good guy, so I'm going to listen in. And he said, let me just back up and go. I made a bottle fall. And they heard him, bring him in the house, killed him. They took the guy they were holding hostage out, and he comes back from the dead out of his. Something comes through the wall, and says, "You've been a hero all your life. now you're a hero forever. You're the Bolt. Yes, the Bolt's about 6 foot and about 900 pounds. Solid muscle. Yes, he can't die. I've had so many friends do this to me with the Bolt. They go, a truck will hit him, and I'm like, the man will just do this, crack, 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 crack. Oh, blow the armed mafia will just kill him. Again, the bullet holes will heal, and he'll just pop his shoulder, and pop the bullets out of his mouth, and just drop them in his hand, and just go, and these yours. And he'll just do this, and his chains will just come out of his hands and just rip everybody to shreds.
But he has to have some weakness, though. Otherwise, it won't be a good story.
He does have weakness, but it doesn't. You can never find it because he's mental. His voice is so deep that it's just like, by the time you find his weakness, you're already dead. like he's so. The way when I created him, I watched a lot of Spawn, and like I got ideas of his character and his being, how he died and he came back from the dead, and he was a vigilante pretty much all his life. That's all he knows is superhero. But the Bolt came back, and when he came out of his original body, he was reborn, and he does not know his past. And in the story I wrote about the Bolt, that in this story originally was just a new journey, like almost like a reboot, but not a reboot. Like it was just him here in Pennsylvania where I live, and he doesn't know why he's here. But I went back and said, if somebody reads the story, they won't know who the heck the Bolt is. So I had to go back in the beginning of the story again and retitle it. It's called The Bolt, The Beginning. So now it's the Bolt back from when he was a little boy all the way to where he died. And then he meets a friend, and then he disappears. And then he comes to Pennsylvania, not knowing why he doesn't know his life until a girl touches him that has the power to see the past of someone. What is that thing when you can touch someone and see the life form? What is that? What do they call that? I don't know what it's called. I can't think of it. Whatever the girl does, she touches the Bolt and she sees his life, and he sees it. And he's like, what is that? What is that? He doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know his life. He doesn't know where his name. He just knows his name is the Bolt. That's all. And yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Rant over.
That's a fun geek.
Rant
That's
over.
a solid origin story there.
Yeah, me character.
I have to say it because I'm the heel of the podcast. There you go.
He always has to make fun of me. I'm always getting made fun of. Actually, I drew the scene where Maddie touches him, and she sees his whole life right before her eyes, like a story. She touches him.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good sketch, though, Joe.
It's her hugging him, and everything that happens to him, it goes like a. You know how when they say when you see, you know when you die, when you're about to die, you see your whole life flash before your eyes. But she hugs him, and she sees his whole life from when he gets struck by lightning to when he was a teen and became a Bolt without the powers. And then she sees him right as the scene is happening when he dies. From the moment he sneaks and the bottle falls to the moment where they drag him into place, tell him, you saw too much, and they kill him. Yeah. Yeah. She sees everything that happens to him. And then she kind of like you really were a human, like before this. Yeah. I gotta somehow get it on the. I actually have it on Facebook. So,
do you have any upcoming matches or shows that you're doing?
Yeah, actually, the next show is in Stockholm, so it's my home promotion, hometown. It's on the 13th of November, and then I'm going back to Body Slam on the 19th. So those are my next two shows this month. Then I have some things booked for next year as well, so we'll see. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it was a little bit like I had so many different promotions and bookings coming up at the start of 2020, and then obviously everything just died out completely. So it's starting to pick up again now, but we'll see. We'll see how many promotions I'll be working for in the future. How many actually still exists. I mean, I was a part of the Relentless roster in Belgium as well. But hopefully they're going to start up at next year again. Really fingers crossed on that one. So yeah, they were quite new on the scene as well. They've done a few shows, and so obviously it's going to hit quite hard if you have to be at a standstill for 1.5 years. But yeah, it's starting to look a lot brighter for wrestling in Europe, I'd say. Finally.
Is it better in Sweden now? Or are things getting better? Or like, could you film in front of fans? Or
yeah, it's actually been allowed with crowds without a lot of restrictions whatsoever since September. So it's looking really good here now compared to how it did look. Obviously, it's still a thing, but most people are vaccinated, and it's not that many restrictions still in place. So. So it's looking good for shows, and hopefully it's gonna keep being this way. I mean, it's gone quite far into the autumn now, so I kind of feel like if it would have been a backfire after the summer, it would have already happened. I hope. So
fingers crossed, right?
yes, fingers, toes, tongues, whatever we can find.
Yeah, everything's crossed, ties.
Toes crossed, arms.
Yeah, exactly. Arms, legs, yes. No, but it's a good feeling now. It's starting to happening again, basically, and bookings coming in, and people are starting to. The bus is going basically, and there's this huge surge from the audience to actually go to live events. People don't want to sit at home anymore. They want to get out and do stuff. So yes, it's very hard getting venues for that reason, though. Everyone wants to book as much things as possible, live music, events, theaters. So this the venues that actually still exist is it's very hard schedule to get in, and it's also the limitations of actually being able to have a ring set up. It can't be any little garage. It has to be certain space and ceiling height and that kind of stuff, obviously. So it is tough.
Are they doing any shows outside where you are, or they only do them inside?
We do them outside as well, but usually just during the summer. The weather here is not that as forgiving as
it's cold,
as one
right?
would wish. Yeah, it is pretty cold. It's a few months in the summer where outdoor shows can possibly work. It's still a bit unstable weather, but it's at least warm. But yeah, I mean, now we're basically just waiting for snow now. So it's just quite dark and wet and gray. It's not very fun to spend a few hours outside as an audience just standing around. So no fun to wrestle in either. But I mean, that's obviously a shorter amount of time you actually have to be outdoors. But still, it's no, it's not the best location for outdoor shows. Even if it would look quite cool, I think on pictures, like doing it in the snow, I think that would be a cool like visual, like the snow coming down, and you have like the wrestling ring set up and people just fighting their asses off.
That would be a cool visual, but it wouldn't be cool to wrestling though.
No, it would be absolutely horrible. I wrestle barefoot as well, so I would probably lose a toe or two.
God, you get hypothermia, girl. No.
Yeah, I know.
Cool visual, but not cool to do though, right?
No. No, I think if we're gonna do that, we're gonna have to fake the snow. I think.
Yeah,
And also
exactly.
with you can't even do it. You said you don't do death match. You're not for death matches. You couldn't do because you would be stepping on glass and stuff like that too
Yeah,
with no shoes on. Oof.
I
Yeah.
know. That's also. I mean, it's certain risks you obviously do take in wrestling, but yeah, no, that's. I don't think that's necessary. At least not for me. Where I wanna go with my wrestling career. So yeah, no, but I mean, I honestly, I'm a bit worried every time I'm actually outside the ring, even because you never know what you're actually stepping on, and sometimes I mean, people spill beers and whatnots on the shows as well. Like, I'm always scared I'm gonna step into something like slippy or sharp, and then get back into the ring and like either have a lot of fluids from whatever on my feet or even blood, and then slip on the ropes and something
Shit.
bad is actually gonna happen. So that's kind of like always a little bit of a worry.
Yeah.
But it's gone fine so far.
Yeah.
Uh, I do prefer going barefoot though. I think that's kind of like with the martial arts background. It's more natural not having shoes on.
Yeah.
But where could people find you?
People can find me on Instagram as Aliss _Ink _ or on Twitter it's at Ink Aliss, or on Facebook.
And you have merch or
At the moment, I'm a bit low on merch. I usually do have T-shirts, but you can find pictures on them on my social media. But right now, I'm out of stock, which is a
okay.
luxury problem, obviously.
That's good and bad. That means you're selling
I was gonna
stuff.
say that you
Yeah, exactly.
must be a popular wrestler there, Alice, in Stockholm. If you're all out of t-shirts, so that's doing
That-
good.
That's
That is
good.
that is pretty good. This
That's
is a very
good and
cool
bad.
design as well.
That means you can't sell anymore now.
No,
Right?
exactly.
So that's kind of bad.
No, but it's actually a friend of mine that's done the design. The t-shirts. He also does designs for heavy metal groups and stuff. It's called Sweet Defector on Instagram. So he has a lot of cool stuff.
They definitely check them out then.
Me and Joe definitely want to thank you for staying up late to talk to
Thank
us.
you so much.
Thank you so much. You have
It's
no
been
idea.
so much fun. Thank you. And you enjoy the rest of the day. And I'm gonna go to sleep and get a few hours before work, I think.
All right. Thank you so much, by the way.
Thank you,
Later.
Alice.
Thank you so much.
Later.
Bye.
Peace out.
That was a fun
That was
interview,
so much
Joe.
fun. We talk
Yeah.
about everything.
Everything, Joe. So you guys go donate to us at http://streamlabs.com/dudes@ringside. http://streamlabs.com/dudes@ringside. Joe, take it away.
Well, unfortunately, yesterday, Liberty Pro Day ended because we couldn't get anybody for Friday. But we do have a wrestler from Florida coming on the podcast tomorrow from CCW. Anna? Is it Anna? I say the name
Anna
wrong.
Diaz.
Anna Diaz. So we will see you Friday.